and welcome to the Virtual Business Owners Network on Friday, the 31st of May. And our guest presenter today is Michael Armitage on a topic called Business is a Four-Letter Word. Take it away, Michael, and could everybody go on mute, please?
Just trying to share the screen here. Share. Yeah. Morning. As Alex said, I'm Michael Armitage. This is a very quick run through, sort of 3-hour presentation that I'm going to try and do in 12 minutes. We get this. Who knows how these things work? But anyway.
Do you want to go into present mode on it and you get the full screen down the bottom? You know your present mode down the bottom?
No, I don't know down the bottom.
Go down right. I can see your cursor move right, more right. There, that one.
Okay.
Hit
yeah. Thanks. Yeah. A successful business is a 4-letter word. Perhaps it's not the one that you're thinking of. Far too many think they're starting a business. But what do? They end up creating a job for themselves. And then what do? They work themselves to death. So the 4-letter word for a successful business isn't work or work hard, because that turns into hard work. So what is business? Well, business is what? Sales, profit, cash. But let's look at that famous itty saying that there is. Sales is vanity. Profit is sanity. But in all of that, does making a sale pay your wages? Does making a profit pay for your telephone bills, pay your insurance, pay for your computers? No, it doesn't. What does do that is cash, because cash is reality. But why is cash reality as well? Not only that it pays everything, but because 100% of businesses fail because they've got no cash. 100% of businesses fail because they've got no cash. But it's pointless having all that cash and having it just sitting around in the bank. What can it do? Nothing. You've got to be able to do something with it. So what you need is that another itty that's in there, and that is activity. You've got to get that cash moving. Because what does activity do? It causes cash to move. And when your cash moves, hopefully you can then use it to create more. So here is basically a schematic showing cash moving. That's too mind-blowing. That's far too early in the morning to be looking at those kind of things. But that's cash moving, But that's what they say is cash is reality. It has to keep moving round all that circle. Cash is reality. And a lot of times we change that to cash is king. People have changed it to cash is king. But it has to keep moving. It has to keep flowing. So cash flow is the king. But remember, 100% of businesses fail because they've got no cash. So, as Mike Savage of Savage Secrets says, cash flow is the kingdom. But if we drill down further and come to see why do businesses have no cash, and why do they fail? Well, from a survey from a US bank study, 82% of businesses failed because they didn't manage or even understand cash flow. So the magic 4-letter word for a successful business is know. You've got to know things about your business. And the most important thing you've got to know is know your cash. So the magic 4-letter word for a successful business is know your cash. But let's simplify cash flow. You saw that horrific diagram schematic there before. Cash flow is very simple. I'm a simple kind of person. I like to keep things simple. What is cash flow? Well, it's money in and money out. That's all cash flow is. It's money in, money out. But on this, so what is money in? For me, money in is marketing and sales management. Money out is spend management. And that's what you have. That's your cash flow, money in, money out. But what is marketing and sales management? What is marketing? Well, to me, I'm a simple person. Marketing is getting customers, and sales is getting cash from those customers. That's all money in is, managing your marketing and sales. What's money out? Well, we said it's spend management. We do two things with money. We either invest it or we waste it. We invest it in assets, we buy computers, we buy stock, we even buy buildings. We invest in people. Yes, people are assets, because people are assets that should be contributing to the bottom line of the business and positively to the cash flow of the business. You need to invest in systems and programs because that makes your life easier. You need a bookkeeping program, you need CRM, time capture, those kind of things. But we also waste money. We do things inefficiently. We do them ineffectively. Well, we perhaps even do the wrong things. So we have to be constantly asking why. Why are we doing this? Why, as the owner, doing the bookkeeping, for example, when we can invest 30 euros per hour in a bookkeeper so that we can go out and earn 100 an hour in the same time? So don't waste money. Have a look at it. So you've got to look at what you and your staff do. I went to one organization and I doubled the sales by employing a clerk. What did he do? Well, he traveled with the salesman and did all the admin so that the salesman could then concentrate on what his job was, which was closing sales. So he was closing sales on the phone while traveling, while the other guy was driving, while he was meeting customers, and building relationships. So have a look at how you can get rid of waste, GROW, get rid of waste, grow your business. So that company, for an investment of 40,000 a year, got an extra 200,000 a year profit and cash in the bank. So cash flow, that is money in, money out. And it's the lifeblood of the business. It's the rock upon which it can perish or grow. There it is. It's a money tree. Business is a money tree. So you've got to nurture it. You've got to get it to grow. You've got to provide the nutrients in there, the lifeblood. You've got to know what's happening with the cash flow. You've got to manage and know results. Sometimes the tree needs pruning. You've got to chop bits off. You've got to cut real bits off and say, let me stop that sales stream. Let me stop doing that. Let me not go to that market. You need extra fertilizer. You need extra people in there. You need other people to come in and sort stuff out. You need extra water, extra sunshine. You've got to nurture your cash flow. But most of all, what you've got to do is you've got to know your cash flow. Know is the word, because in there, what you've got to do, you've got to know your customers. Can I successfully give these people credit? Can I make sure that, my customers know what your credit terms are? Do they know and understand how you operate your business? That you're going to be collecting money off them in 7 days. Perhaps their company policy is we pay 30 days. So you've got to make sure that people know. The important thing is know. You've also got to know your product, know your market, and know the needs that you are serving and what you're meeting. Why be the maker of the world's best blanket when everybody wants a duvet? You've got to know your suppliers. When you look at your spend, know your suppliers. How can you gain a financial advantage from them? Can you get discounts for paying early? Can you perhaps do bulk buying? Etc. You've got to have a look at how these people operate. I don't know whether you, Viking, the office supplies people, they always used to have giveaways. And one of the things they had was at one time they were giving away a filing cabinet. I needed a filing cabinet, but I had to buy millions of stationery items from them to get the free filing cabinet. So what did I do? I contacted my clients, found clients who wanted those extra stationery items. I then put my order in, got my free filing cabinet, and there you go. So you've got to have a look at all of these things. You've got to know how to use these things, because you are there to work on the business, not in the business. The other item you've got to look at is, like Alec always goes, about is you've got to audit and categorize expenses. Are you spending items unnecessarily? Are all your direct debits and standing orders actually truly what you do need and require? Look at implementing cost controls. Have a look at things. So in all of this, what you've got to do is you've got to know to grow. You know, in this as well, a couple of tips for you. I don't do the usual tips, as you know me, but what you've got to do is you've got to invest in time, invest in timing, right? Not your usual month end or year end. You've got to get rid of that mental block. They don't exist. They're purely an accountant's dream, right? So you got rid of month ends. What you've got to look at is what are the cash flow timings? Because cash flow is a video. It's not a photograph. You've got to have a look at what impacts your cash flow. What impacts your cash flow periods? We pay VAT and PAYE on the 23rd of the month. We don't pay it on the end of the month. You get suppliers who perhaps say, pay me 30 days from invoice. So you could have an invoice on the 12th of the month that you're due to pay them the 12th of the following month. So you've got to have a look at the timings, know the timings of your cash flow, because you can use it to your advantage. If you're stuck in that rut of financial years, etc., you say, well, I've got next year's budget. Rubbish. You say, I'm going to buy a computer next year. No. Why not buy it now? Say your year end is 31st of December. Buy the computer now. Why? Because you get the VAT back on the 23rd of January. So instead of buying it in January and getting your VAT back in April or July, let's advance the cash flow. Have a look at how you can do that. The secret in it is to know how to advance your cash flow. So you buy it on the 31st of December, you get your VAT back on the 23rd of January. Win-win. It's not a bad thing that you get part of your cash back straight away. But in all of that, you haven't saved any money. You've got to realize that you haven't saved money. You've advanced your cash flow. Because if you advance your cash flow, you now get extra money for a period of time to make more money. You need money to make money. So if perhaps in all of these things where I've just been explaining there with that one about year ends, etc., if you don't know these things, what you have to do is you've got to talk to somebody who does know these things. Talk to your accountant, get the benefit of his business advice. Don't just use him as a filing clerk to file annual returns with CRO or file returns with revenue. They've got a great business sense in accountants. They've got great breadth of knowledge from all the clients they deal with, and they can point you in the direction of enhancing your cash flow. If all your accountant does is file your revenue returns and CRO returns, can him, get rid of him, right? Move on to someone who can provide value into your business. Get a mentor or a business advisor. But we all don't know everything about business, and we shouldn't pretend to. We should be good at what we would like to do and what we know about. So get a mentor, get a business advisor. Use their skill, experience, and achievements to increase your cash flow. One of the things I like to do is I like to play around with the government VAT rules. Because I'm on the cash basis, right? I'm not over $1 million turnover. I don't need to do invoice basis. So I can invoice people without paying the VAT over to government. But that then can help my clients. Because say I do a 6-month, half-day-a-week business advisory, I invoice all 6 months on day one. So I invoice them 12,000 plus the 2,760 VAT. So then at the end of the month one, you pay me 2,460, 1/6, but 23 days later, you get back the 2,760 VAT from government. So there you are, you've gained cash and you've had me in there for 7 weeks working to get extra cash. That's a win-win. That's great. So what you have to look at is know how to play the system, know how things are, know what everything is. So the successful 4-letter word for business is know. Right? And in that, You've got to know to grow. Okay. Why? Because you want to exit with more cash. There's some more 4-letter words for you. That's what you want to do at the end. You've got to exit with more cash. So thank you for listening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Michael. Much appreciated that. And you're speaking to the converted when you're speaking to